We're 2 days away from game day here on a college football Saturday, and it's time to address the biggest concerns heading into this game and some more action as well. Let's hit it, baby. Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans. Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show. Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby. For me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever seen.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. What's poppin', everybody? My name is Badlands Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. We're streaming live, as we do every single gosh darn day, which my fiance reminds me of constantly. She said, you can never sleep in because you do this show, and it's a dedication, it's a commitment that I've made to the New York Jets and you, the fans. So you're welcome, everybody. And we're streaming live right now on the Facebook, the YouTube, and the Twitter sphere. So, guys, make sure you show your support wherever you're watching. And I will give a shameless plug. Yesterday, New York Jets punter Thomas Morstead dropped by, and he gave some juicy deets on the behind-the-scenes roster action that happened when he got cut and kind of some of the stuff that got in there, which is pretty cool and interesting, and some of the messaging he's been giving to some of the younger players. Some fascinating stuff. But go feel free to check that out on your own time on the YouTube channel and also wherever you find your podcast, Boy Green Daily. But let's bring in a very special guest for the very first time on the program. It's been Badlands week. We had Joe Caporoso on a couple of days ago, and now it's time to bring in this man, the legend, Dan Essien, here on the program. What's up, Dan?
What's going on, Paul? How's it going, man?
Well, it's phenomenal to finally do this for the first time. Your Buck the Trend has been, trending, of course. It's popping all over the gosh darn place with your freaking crazy guests and fun bits on the show. So it's been a wonderful upgrade to the Badlands family, Dan. We're all enjoying it.
I appreciate it. It's been a blast, man. It's been so cool to work with everybody and get everybody on, to kind of give their own personalities, but also to give their strong takes, because we have a lot of strong takes in the Badlands House, but also a lot of strong takes around Jets Twitter, man. So it's kind of fun to play around with what other teams are doing too, kind of what the league is moving towards. So yeah, it's been cool so far. Happy to continue it.
Yeah, well, and I hope you do, because it's been fantastic. Now, before we dive into the theme of today's show, the thing that I definitely do want to bring up, and it's also featured in our article, which again, wherever you guys are watching, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, we have an article that goes along with every video, and we talk about our guest coming in and some of the things they may be doing, and of course, the Badlands season preview guide. There's a direct link down below where you guys can see this puppy. You have to be, of course, it's a New York, the best, as Joe Caporoso says, the best New York Jets subscription podcast on the planet. So, of course, you have to be subscribed to dive into this wonderful action. As I click the link, it's like, hey, you got to put the password in, pal. But as I've looked at this yesterday and the last couple of days, Dan, you are the architect. You are the man behind the scenes. Like we see Joe Caporoso and Connor Rogers, all these superstars. But you're the one who put this puppy together, and I'm going to be honest, it looks spectacular. There's you can see breakout players, your guys' predictions. I watched Connor's video last night. It's really interactive. It's fascinating. Really cool, man.
Yeah, it was so cool to put together last year, because that was really our first one last year, and we were kind of like, man, what do people want to see before the season? What are people interested in? What are people usually talking about? That really helped us, kind of guide the content and figure out what to put together. This year was so much easier since we had last year to base it off of, but the content itself has just gotten so much better. We have so many cool, folks in-house that are putting together a lot of these predictions and breakout candidates and the analysis. But yeah, it's a blast, man. It's kind of cool to kind of mix all my worlds together, putting together some of the code and then also a lot of the, analysis football side. So yeah, it's always really fun to put this together because I feel like you can kind of feel how people are going to react to some of the things, and with the Jets actually being good now, it's a lot more enjoyable.
All right, let's break some laws. Let's break some rules here, Dan. I'm
Let's
just going
do
to show just a quick little peek, a quick little taste. Again, if you want the full shish kebab, you got to do that on your own time. But look at this. Look at this. Come on, baby. Look at this Badland. What's inside? Who knows? You got to click the buttons to see position previews, X Factors, breakout schemes, predictions, perhaps. Start the guide. Well, if you want to start the guide, you got to pay the bill, pal, and rent is due. So feel free to do that. I'm going to hide that away. Sorry, folks. You want the juicy deets? You're going to have to dive in yourself. But let's get into this, Dan. We got the Jets Bills game 2 days away, which is unbelievable to say. We had the Lions Chiefs game the other night, which was spectacular. Shout out to the Lions as a similar fan base that has been through, doldrums and lulls to go inside, the octagon of the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champs. And I don't give a flying hoot. Who is that to win that game? And by the way, called it on the radio. Just want to make that perfectly clear that the Lions are going to take care of business. And I thank you very much. Put one in the calendar because, again, I just want to make this clear that I don't give predictions on this show. I give freaking spoiler alerts, baby. So I told you it was going to happen. And, of course, it did. So beautiful stuff there. But like I said, we got Sunday game of football. That'll be kind of – I'm going to be honest. Let me ask you there, Dan. Let's start there. That's going to be weird for me. Enjoyable, probably, sure, with no skin in the game, because normally we can't do that. We're on the edge of our seats for whatever Jets game happens to be on. Obviously, Monday Night Football is a luxury, although the Jets have two of them coming up later this season, the Chargers being the other one. Are you going to be able to fully enjoy Sunday? Or are we just going to be thinking Jets, Bills, Jets, Bills, Jets, Bills, Jets, Bills?
Honestly, I'll tell you this. I was thinking about just skipping fantasy this year because I was like, it's gonna be a good Jet season. I want to just stay focused. It's gonna be nice. Sure. But honestly, I got to close to this weekend, or I think it was Wednesday, and I was like, nope, gotta get a team because I just need something to take my mind off on Sunday because I'll just be a nervous wreck if I have to go through all those games and then wait for the Jets on Monday.
That's a good distraction, I will say. Yes. It's a good distraction. I've been doing fantasy football for a long time, and here's how I operate during games, whether I'm there at the game, obviously, even more so, or at home. When the Jets are on the tube, when game has started, I'm like, phone, hey, Siri, do not disturb.
Exactly.
And then I go to a break or something, like, hey, what happened? Beep, boop, pop. Okay, back to the game. No, there is no playing around. There's no controversy. No, I wonder who I want the Jets to score a touchdown. I don't care if Nick Badlands scores the gosh darn touchdown, which I heard are the longest odds heading in if you want to make some money over there in the Badlands sponsorship world. But I don't give a flying hoot who scores the touchdown. I'm just pretty excited about all that stuff. So let's address the theme. The biggest concerns heading into this Jets-Bills game. I'll pop up the poll so you guys can see it. We have a poll today every single friggin' day on this show. And I laid 4 potential options out there, and maybe Dan can, dig in this early trick-or-treat bag and pick one of these that are presented and shoved down his throat. Or perhaps Dan is even something beyond this list. But make sure you guys vote. It's up for 24 hours, and we got another 15 hours and change for you guys to address this. But here are the concerns, and we'll go through all of them on today's show. But protecting Aaron Rodgers. Again, what is your biggest concern as a Jets fan heading into the season opener versus the Bills? Here are the 4 options. Protecting Aaron Rodgers. The rustiness of a new offense. Just kind of Josh Allen. I think that kind of goes without explanation, perhaps. And then the ability to run the football, which I think is underrated, but we'll get into that later. Are any of these the top one on your list, Dan, or is it something else? I'm intrigued.
So it's for sure protecting Aaron Rodgers. I'm with the fans on this one. I think with a lot of the things that we've been discussing this offseason, everything revolves around the same thing. Getting the offensive line right just revolves around making sure that Aaron Rodgers has enough time to do what he has to do. So I think protecting Aaron Rodgers, I think, is a totally fair response here from the fans. I think that is going to be aided not just by the players being okay. So, like, of course, Becton kind of just being fine from that illness that he's going through midweek, but I think it's beyond that. It's also going to be about the strategies because teams are going to make changes to adapt to the talent that they have. And I think the Jets are going to be using the quick passing game a good amount. And I think they're going to be using Garrett Wilson in the quick passing game a good amount, particularly if teams continue to play off. So, yeah, I think the Jets are going to try to take advantage of that. Maybe the defense will creep up closer. Maybe they'll put maybe people in the box, and then Aaron Rodgers can, figure out ways to get the ball downfield, and make some big plays happen if the offensive line just gives them just enough time. So I think the Jets will strategize around the fact that they need to get the ball out a little bit quicker and aid in protecting Aaron Rodgers that way. But I think that also goes hand in hand with the second one, though, a little bit with the rest of the Cincinnati offense. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And by the way, you mentioned the Mekhi Becton thing. Obviously, let's just address that real quick. Yesterday, we get the injury report, and Mekhi Becton downgraded. Obviously, he had been a limited participant. That's what he's probably always going to be with that knee. Is they have their plan about it, but he did not practice. He was sent home because of a non-football illness situation. And Robert Saleh is set to speak at 10:45 this morning. So obviously we record this live every day at 7:30. Hopefully there's a positive update to be had there from Mekhi. So concerning always when you get something like that. But I've seen it actually around the league. Not that I think, the illness in New York is the same illness. Apparently, like Ramondre Stevenson apparently dealt with something similar. So we'll just kind of see. Fingers crossed for that update, because that would open door number 2 for your Bachelor show, and Billy Turner and Max Mitchell come on down. Yikes. Go back through the door, sir. No, thank you.
Yes.
So hopefully none of that action happening. Yeah, I mean, I probably agree with the fans too. Again, the protection of Aaron Rodgers. Although the thing that makes me, I slept great last night. Von Miller, not going to be there. Boop. Head hits the pillow. There was absolutely, which I feel great. And here's the thing. I think Leonard Floyd's really good. I think he's got a high floor as a pass rusher. He's a very, very talented guy. Dan, now I'm dancing in your waters. I've taken off the hoodie and I've kind of jumped in the waters a little bit here to dabble. And I'll tell you, so Leonard Floyd, high floor pass rusher. But to be honest, the analytics speak for themselves, Dan, and you know this better than I do, is that with Von Miller, and this is probably the statement of the day, really good analytics, love the Buffalo Bills. You remove them like last year, the sack and pressure percentages, I mean, this stock just plummets. Yep. And that to me is highly intriguing, because all of a sudden I asked the question, it was one of the themes earlier this week, and the Bills rush the passer without Von Miller. Analytics say not as well, right, and not as consistently. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. And I think it's a big factor, of course, coming to this week. But it's also one of those things that's going to be, you have to watch it as the season goes along. We'll see how they cope, the first couple of weeks, if he's like getting back into, whatever his time frame is, get back into the lineup, it will affect their defense. So it's going to be interesting to see that, because they had a hot start last season, and their defense looked ridiculous. Then things kind of just waned, and we saw the Jets game against the Bills at home last season, where they had a lot more time and a lot more comfort on offense than a lot of people expected, but they also just like ran the crap out of the ball eventually, and wore down that defense. So I think it's for sure a factor here, and they're definitely in a good situation, of course, with Von not on the field. Like you said, Leonard Fournette's pretty good, but you're 100% right in the fact that like we watched the Chiefs and Lions game. You can see there's a level at offensive tackle that you get to, and you get a little bit below that, and you start getting a little bit scared. And I think that the Chiefs tackles were struggling a little bit, and you can kind of see how that can affect the offense. Whereas like the Lions tackles had fared a little bit better. Of course, Penei Sewell, a monster. But you can kind of see that if the Jets have, of course, good Dwayne Brown and healthy Mekhi Becton, they can be able to handle someone like Leonard Floyd. Whereas, of course, like you're saying, if we're kind of swinging in Billy Turner or anybody else in there, it's like,
oh boy,
man, it might be a little bit. But
yeah, right. Well, let me ask you this. I haven't asked anyone this week. And Joe Caprosa would hate this, but the season opener, does it make it almost must win? And I mean it in this way. So Von Miller's not playing. It's almost like, in the Chiefs sense, pick either side. Chris Jones or Travis Kelce not playing. If you're the Lions, although you only get one whack at the pinata versus Bills twice being in the division, then you go, man, if we can't beat him when they don't have Von Miller, then he's probably going to be there on the second go round. Like, it's going to be even more difficult. And plus that one's on the road. Does that make this one more must win, or is that a stupid thing to say for week one? Feel free to be honest, Dan. Feel free to be honest.
So I think I understand that there will be some urgency, but I don't think it's a must win, only because I think we're kind of a lot of the themes we're kind of speaking about right now, the offense will be way more in sync by that time later in the season. I do think they'll be able to neutralize him a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, ideally with him out, you kind of want to snatch that game. But I do think they'll be more equipped to handle him by the time they get towards the middle of the season.
All right, the fans hate the last option. And one person said, was I trolling? Because I was kind of poking at Bills fans earlier this week. I said, that was kind of funny when James Robinson ran it down your throat. They said, James Robinson sucks. And that was kind of a whole funny back and forth. So, yeah, I did a little bit of trolling there, perhaps. But also, I mean, in all reality, the two top running backs for the Jets are both coming off offseason surgery. I think Brees ended up waiting with the Joe Douglas. I don't know the exact time of when that surgery happened, but he tore his ACL in October. And then the same thing for Dalvin, who I think had that in February, is that they're both coming off surgery. Now, I will say this personally, maybe it's just some weird inner feeling of belief. I feel great about the running back room because I feel like Brees is going to surprise. I think Dalvin's going to be ready to go. So I don't have a concern. But I think any normal person would probably have some level of concern considering those two fun facts I shared about the surgery. Do you have any concern? Where are you? Are you in the Boy Green camp, toot, or, surgery, rational? Where are you there?
So I think I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not going to lie to you.
Ooh, okay.
I think the Jets are in one of the strangest situations health-wise because you're kind of like, oh, we didn't see a lot of Dalvin. So you're like, I hope he's good. And then, it's like, Brees is for sure still ramping up. So definitely going to be light with Brees. And then it's like, oh, Izzy had a preseason injury. And they're like, oh, he came back really faster than anyone expected. We expected it to be like 4 weeks. And it's like, oh, no. It's one of those things you're kind of like, I hope he's actually okay. But it's, I mean, if you're kind of balancing their time together, which is good. So they can literally all ramp up at the same time, managing each other's health as they go. So I think that helps. They have a nice 3-punch option here that's going to be pretty effective. So I think that they'll be okay. I think they all offer incredible explosiveness, which is awesome. It's kind of like teams a lot of times try to do the little thunder lightning. The Jets just did lightning.
I love that. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a nice balance. I think they know what they're trying to do offensively, and I think their offensive line, particularly on that right side, if everybody's all good, is going to be mauling people out of the way. So that definitely makes things a little bit easier as well. But yeah.
All right, gun to your head. What's the split? Gun to your head. What's the split on Monday Night Football? The game's over. You look at the split, and you can either do it in percentage or snaps, whichever you prefer, for Dalvin, Brees, and any combination of whether it's Michael, Izzy, or whoever.
Ooh, good question. I'm gonna say 15 for Dalvin. I'm gonna go carries here.
Sure. Okay.
15 for Dalvin. 10 for Brees, and 5 for Izzy.
Okay. Interesting. Spicy. Okay. Okay. I like it. In the same sense, although I keep flirting with because here's the thing. I know Robert Saleh said they're going to be smart, but come on. If I'm Robert Saleh, I'm like, all right, we're going to hold Brees to about this. First run, 45 yards. Throw that play out the window. Brees Hall every play. Like, I would just be like, whoa, how could you not? But I mean, again, I'm sure they got the medical people that have whispered sweet pleasantries into his ear. Hey, here's the number. They've got a plan and a potential ramp up. So I'm sure, because I'm sure Brees like, F that, pitch, whatever. Because again, to Saleh's actual words to the media, he said there'd be no pitch count of Dalvin Cook or Brees Hall. Right. But we're going to be smart, which sounds like Guatemalan for, yes, there will be a pitch count, but I'm just not going to tell you whatever the hell it's going to be. But nonetheless, that's the intriguing thing to me, man, because there's a non-zero chance here, Dan Essien, joining us on the gosh darn show, for Pete's sake, that there's a chance here, a non-zero chance that Brees Hall's a friggin' alien, and that he steps on and he recovers faster than the normal dad bod man that's sitting over here who's also recovering from an ACL. There's a chance, a non-zero chance. I'd say even more non-zero than this fat guy over here. But I would say there's a more than non-zero chance that Brees Hall could be this freak. Step on the field, looks as good or even better than he did before. And you're like, whoa, recalibrate, audible at the line of scrimmage, beep, boop, bop, Bluebird 22, Red Cobra. Put his ass back out there. There's a non-zero chance that that's possible, Dan.
You're 100% right. And one of the great things, or not great things, but it's one of the strange things about injuries, is that as you're ramping up, as you're trying to come back from an injury, you are so like keyed, like you're so excited to get back on the field, especially when it's been a really long time. You feel like you could literally do anything, especially if
Right.
he has the trust back in his knee. He's going to feel like, oh, like you'll hear a lot of athletes be like, yeah, no, when I fully felt recovered and when I fully trust my knee, I was like, oh no, I'm better than I was. Like I put in all this work. Like I'm more explosive. I'm better than I was before this, and like I just need to show it. So yeah, he's going to be trying to run like 25 miles per hour on every carry, and it's just going to be like you got to protect him from himself a little bit. But yeah, you can tell like even on Hard Knocks and One Jets Drive, the coaching staff is like, damn, he looks fast. They're like the tracker's telling you he's doing like 21-22, so it's like it's hard to hold people back from that, but they're gonna have to just try. But yeah, like you said, it's tough. If he breaks off like an 80-yarder, he's gonna be like, put me on the damn field.
Oh my god! And the Bills, those lucky bastards, they have not seen Breece Hall yet. For fans who don't know, again, Breece Hall got injured week 7 against the Denver Broncos. They didn't play the Bills till week 9, and obviously the second matchup even further. I think it was week 14 off the top of my head. So like they haven't seen him. Yep. And again, remember James Robinson in the first game, and then all of a sudden, James Robinson, Breece Hall, not the same. Yep. One of these two items are not the same in the shopping cart. So I'm looking forward to whatever that could potentially present. And also, I give a shout out to the Jets people. I've talked to a lot of them behind the scenes in this documentary we're going to end up seeing on Breece Hall's recovery. And they just told me that it's one of the proudest, some of these Jets people behind the scenes said it's some of the proudest things they've ever put together of any production thing they've done. And when they say something like that to me, because normally, they're very humble and modest saying, hey, we're just, there's more, we wish we could have done this or wish we could have done this, like better. Because, they're always seeking to there. Here, they're like, no, this is it. So I'm looking forward to that whenever that ends up dropping. I'm sure after the first Breece Hall, like again, if he goes crazy on Bills game, let's release that next week. So that could be coming. So when that does, a major shout out to all of them for that. So I can't wait for that. And Dan, I could talk to you all gosh darn day, baby, but the show is just too quick. It's a snack size 20 minutes and change. So Dan, before we get you out of here, prediction time, baby. Score prediction, throw it out there. What do you have for this contest?
I got 31-21 Jets.
Okay.
It's gonna be a nice little explosive game. You're gonna see some good stuff from Garrett Wilson. You're gonna see some good stuff from the defense. I think, of course, Josh Allen will have his moments every now and then, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think the offense is gonna put up a good showing, get people comfortable, get people feeling good. It's not gonna be full throttle, of course, but I think they're gonna have enough, particularly with Aaron Rodgers getting a little bit of comfort, getting a little bit of an offseason in, more than he seems to have done with the Packers recently. So I think they'll put some points on the board. It'll be a fun day.
Wow. And by the way, I'm in the same ballpark in terms of the Jets points. I don't know if you've heard my prediction before. I would assume not. And I dropped 31. I believe the Jets are going to be dropping 31 points in this game. And feel free to react to this as well, before we sign off here, Dan. I have 31-12. I have the Jets blowing the barn doors off the Bills, and I want to make this clear that I just believe what's going to happen in this game. I've been telling everybody this, and this has been my take since I don't know when, Monday. I think that was the first Bills week show we did. I said it on Monday. I think the atmosphere is going to be unbelievable. Wish I was there. I won't be. I'll be back here in New York somewhere, and I just feel like that crazy atmosphere. Jets jump on a wounded animal. They're not wounded, but you understand what I mean? They just get on top of them with a quick 10, 14, nothing lead or something. All of a sudden, Bills go, whoa, what the hell just happened? And then just the snowball starts rolling. And against this defense having that kind of lead, and the passers go, yes, excellent. And then I just think they could go to town. So again, I don't think the Bills are some scrub slump team, but I just feel like anybody can get got. And I believe could happen. I will ask you the same thing I've asked everybody else. Joe Caparosa actually gave me a much higher percentage on this than I expected, as this calculated, even Steven guy is like, very pragmatic. Let me evaluate that sort of thing. Like I thought he was going to be like, oh, hell no, you're an idiot. So I ask you, Dan, what's the percentage of what I said actually come into fruition on Monday night? 0 to 100%. Like Paul, there's no chance it's happening. Or 100%. Paul, I already saw crystal ball and I know that's happening. So where are you on the scale on that prediction?
For 31-12?
Yes. Yeah.
75%.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about, Dan. That's what I'm talking about. Fired up at 7:30 on a Saturday gosh darn morning. That's what fucking. Whoa, almost said something else. That's what I'm friggin' talking about, Dan. I love that. That's beautiful. I love that. Wow. All right, let me before we get out of here, there is one stat. We'll see if I get it here. I do not believe I'm going to. But ESPN, they put out this very interesting statistic. They were looking at all the games, the predictions and things that are going to happen ahead of week 1. And one of the nuggets they shared, actually, I do believe I will get it before we get out of here. And I was unaware of this stat. And this is worth bringing up. This is great podcasting and radio when you're looking this up on the fly. Here is, let me see. Let me make sure I get the nugget here. Who said this? Come on, Paul. Here we go. Here it is. I did not know this. The Jets, and this is from Rich Cimini, the Jets have gone 8 straight games against the Bills without scoring more than 20 points. And both of us are saying, F you. We're going to 30 points, baby. So, of course, none of those were with Aaron Rodgers.
That's the thing.
But that's an interesting nugget that I saw, and I went like, I'm still standing by my gosh darn prediction that it's happening. But I did see that nugget, so the Jets have some proof in the pudding to do. Again, this is just a great measuring stick game. Jets, Bills, where are you at? Because I already have some things saved in the tweet drafts ready to go. As soon as the Jets punch this win in, I've got things to say, and I'm ready to hit the post, tweet button, whatever the hell it's called now. Boop. I'm ready to do all of that. So hopefully the Jets can deliver on all our sweet promises, Dan. But nonetheless, this has been beautiful. It's finally, gosh darn time to pop your cherry on this program. And boop, pop the cherry. You have been here on the program. We'll have to do this again very soon, brother.
I appreciate you. It's a great having Kerry coming on here, man. This is dope. I've been watching from afar, so I'm a big fan of this. So I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you bringing me here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate coming on this show as well. It's wonderful. But Dan, actually, before we get you out of here, because I'm apparently never going to let you leave. Plug Buck the Trend. People are like, Buck the Trend. What the hell is Buck the Trend? Give them love for people who don't know. People should already know, but if they don't know, what is that? It's obviously part of the Badlands family. Give the full tease here before we sign you off.
Yeah, so Buck the Trend, man, it really started just trying to cover the direction of the NFL, where teams are going in, where offenses are moving in terms of strategy, where player development is moving towards, where player personnel departments are looking for talent at the college level. So it's all about just trying to track where the league's moving in, but also at the same time trying to track where the Jets are moving in relation to that. So it's been really fun. We did coordinator tiers recently, which was really fun. Just trying to like place where everybody stacks up around the NFL. We've been getting into a lot of different stuff this offseason. We did a little bit of randoms, which is a more fun side of the podcast, just trying to do a little bio and then just absolutely ridiculous questions for the guests. And I'll try having you on, Paul, at one point, hopefully.
Oh,
for randoms.
Okay.
But
yeah.
But no, yeah, it's been a blast. It's been really cool to kind of dive into the statistics, dive into the analysis of where the league's going in, but at the same time have a little bit of fun. So that's what you can expect with Pod.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is I heard the Connor Rogers episode a while ago. Maybe you've had him on again since, but I heard the one a couple of weeks ago, and his career stuff was just super fascinating. And he's obviously an awesome guy, and he's a great part of, obviously, the Badlands team, a straw that stirs the drink, some could say, for the Badlands family. So that one was spectacular, and I love them all, whether it's you, Greg Armstrong, you guys just did that one. I mean, come on, man. So the family deserves more love. But Dan, thanks for carving out the time. This was awesome, and I'm sure we'll be doing this again very soon.
I appreciate you.
There he is, Dan Essien. Badlands, baby. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:30. Like I said, another reminder, check out the Thomas Morstead interview. That baby is live. He was live from the Jets facilities, ran off into a corner. We really appreciate that, Thomas. Gosh darn Morstead. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 7:30. Take care, everybody.